This is what will be required of you if you want to create success in any area of your life. You want to have a better body, a better relationship, a better relationship with God, your spouse, your friends. It will require you to care more about your dreams and goals than the opinions of other people. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Candy Valentino Show. Thanks so much for tuning in and spending this time with me today. Today's a special episode. It's actually a little late. It's like a month late, but I wanted to record this for my birthday because a couple years ago I did one of these and I think I'd turned like 42 or something, and I had done like 42 things that I learned. And a few people reached out, maybe you're one of them, and was like, hey, you didn't do a birthday episode. And I completely forgot about it. So this is the birthday episode, or you can just call it 45 things that I have learned in life that I wanted to share with all of you. Some of these are simple. Some of them are health related, some are relationship related. But if you want more information, like we share on the show, if you want to hear from more experts like we have, such an incredible episode we did with Tony Robbins and Eddie Wilson and so many others, Dan Martell, Jamie Kern-Lima. I mean, my gosh, it's been such an incredible ride. And we have some really big announcements that we're sharing really, really soon on the show. So it would be so great if you would subscribe, hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening or watching right now. And without further ado, let's get into 45 life lessons that I want to share with you. This could be something that you can even share with your kids when you're done listening, so I will keep it clean. All right, number one in the little health section, satin pillowcases. And yes, this applies to guys too. I can't tell you, and my crew here that are males are laughing as I say that, but it's so true. They're so underrated. It helps with your hair, your skin, with wrinkles, especially if you sleep on your side or your face. So $20 on Amazon, maybe 40 if you get a really good one. Get a satin pillowcase. Very, very good. All right, number two, don't bake in the sun. I know a lot of people will preach SPF. I'm actually not an SPF preacher, lover. I think there's a lot of chemicals in SPF that we're putting on our face. Now, I know it's smart to use it, but try to get an organic one that isn't filled with chemicals, so you're not laying chemicals on your skin, sitting in the sun, having all of your pores open up and those chemicals seep in to your skin. So just don't bake in the sun. I wish I would have baked a little less in the sun when I was a little younger, so I didn't have as many laser treatments that I need now to get rid of all the sunspots. Number three, speaking of treatments, microneedling is really amazing. If you don't want to do fillers and Botox and all of that stuff, microneedling is a way for your body to produce its own collagen, and it's a really great way to maintain youthful skin. I love it. I think I'm going next week for a Morpheus 8 treatment, which has the radio frequency in it. Which brings us to number four. Get a filtered shower head in your shower, especially depending on where you live. Like, make sure that whatever we focus so much of the water that we drink, but we don't realize when we're in the shower, all of that water that's chlorinated from the plant down the street or down the road or in another county or in another state, if you're in Arizona and they're shipping it in, is so bad for your hair, your skin, your face. And it adds to dryness, which adds to aging. So put a simple little, you can get them at Home Depot or you can go online and get some really expensive ones, but for less than $200, you can get a really great reverse osmosis filter for your shower. And while we're on the topic of shower, while we're on the topic of water, number five, drink more water than you think you need. So often people think that they have different issues, but really they're just dehydrated. So make sure that you're drinking more water than any other liquid that you put in your body. Electrolytes are radically underrated as well. What's overrated in the topic of health and water and liquids is alcohol. Number six, there's really nothing good that comes from being plastered. If you think about it, and this is a stat that I learned from Anthony because of being a judge and an attorney, that most crimes that are committed on the other side of alcohol. Domestic violence, drunken battery. I mean, all of the things that you do when you drink, you have a greater chance. Also, infidelity, being somebody that you're not, happens when you're drinking. So there's not a lot of things that are good that comes from drinking. And I just think it's worth sharing that maybe consider being sober curious or just drinking a little less, even if you enjoy it. But one of the things I found, since I don't drink very much at all, it might be New Year's Eve, my birthday, maybe a very special occasion like a big deal or something, I feel horrible the next day. So the more your body is away from it, it's almost like it doesn't process it very well because it's not used to the toxin and you don't want it anymore. So just something to consider. Nothing good comes from alcohol. Number 7, the food you eat either gives you better health or destroys it. So if you want better skin, if you want better energy, if you want to show up, if you want to look young, all of it comes from the food that you're putting into your body. You cannot put junk into your system and expect to be a high performing entrepreneur or whatever it is that you're trying to do in life. So pay attention to what you eat and pay attention to how it makes you feel. And if you can't let go of something that makes you feel bad, you're probably addicted to it. Sugar and cheese are 2 of the most addictive substances in the food system. So just pay attention to how you feel, and you might want to consider avoiding them. Okay, those are some of the health ones. I think they're scattered in here, but we're going to jump a little bit to some relationship ones. Okay, number 9's a doozy. When you meet someone that you are considering getting in a relationship with, and this is coming from someone that is now middle-aged, which sounds so old. My gosh, I remember being like in my 20s and I thought someone my age was like really old. And then you get here and you realize that like it's not. But when you are considering getting into a relationship with someone, whether it's business or intimate, I want to caution you on 2 things. Don't fantasize about their potential. Don't rationalize any red flags. Don't think that they're going to get better than they are or that you can somehow rescue them or make them better. See them for who they are and just think, if they don't ever change, if they don't ever improve, if they don't ever get better, am I okay with being with this person forever? It's just something to think through. And the second one is making sure that you check in with your body of how you feel. And I don't know that I can articulate this well because I don't think I realized this until probably my 30s, but I would feel a certain way in my body around certain people. And I would try to rationalize my way through, oh, Candy, you're overreacting. Oh, come on, there's nothing wrong with that person. Oh, but no, there is something when your body has a physiological response in a negative manner to being around people. And then you're around other people that just make you feel calm, make you feel safe, don't make you feel stressed. Pay attention to that. Anytime I've gotten into a relationship or a business deal that there was this heightened sense of stress that I thought was excitement has always turned out to be painful. And the people that I can just feel safe around, they might not even be the most talented. It might not even be the best business deal compared to another. But if I can't feel safe in my body, my nervous system doesn't feel calm around them, it's a hard no for me. So just something to consider as you continue going through life. Number 10, care about your dreams and goals more than the opinions of other people. This is what will be required of you if you want to create success in any area of your life. You want to have a better body, a better relationship, a better relationship with God, your spouse, your friends. It will require you to care more about your dreams and goals than the opinions of other people. This is also the same belief that will, if you ignore it, will keep you broke and never accumulate wealth because you're trying to impress people, hoping that they think you're rich while it's keeping you poor. Care about your dreams more than the opinions of other people. Number 11, having kids and who you marry will be the 2 biggest decisions of your life. More so than what job you pick, what career you have, where you move to, anything else. Those 2 are the biggest decisions that you will ever make. Take your time. Don't listen to other people on the timeline or who it should be. And I will add, do not buy into the opinions of society or other people on how old you should be, what your life should look like, when you should have kids, if you should have kids. Remember, everyone has an opinion, but opinions are not valuable if they don't come from someone that has the life that you want to live. So just be guarded with who you listen to. Number 12, if you do have kids, here's one thing to consider. Even if you're successful and you have a level of wealth, allow your kids to struggle. Robbing your kids of adversity is literally stripping them of the one thing that they need to create a successful life. No matter what it is you want to achieve, if it's a big business, if it's wealth, if it's freedom, if it's happiness, if it's a great relationship, if it's marriage, you've got to know how to navigate struggle. And when you remove adversity from your kids and you give them everything, you're setting them up to fail later in life. I did not have everything handed to me. And I promise you, when I was younger, I did look around at other people thinking, oh, wow, they have this and they have that. But as I got older, I am so massively grateful that we didn't have the means for me to have everything, because it gave me the one thing to realize that I can accomplish anything I want. Because I'm able to do it. I'm able to navigate adversity. I'm able to navigate challenge, struggle. I'm able to take that rock that was thrown my way and step on it to get a little higher. And when you rob kids from that struggle, you're removing the ability and the talents that they need to accomplish anything that they want in life. That brings us to number 13, and this is about real estate investing. I wish every single time I did a flip in the last 20 years that I also bought an apartment building and held it. So if you're getting into real estate investing, buying and holding is the way that you create passive income down the road. Buying and flipping, or even buying and developing, is the way that you create earned income, knowing the difference and starting now on the ladder. All right, number 14. I don't actually know if it's 14. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Hopefully we'll get through these. Let's go with 14. If you are buying your first house, don't make it your dream home. In the United States, you have this thing that you one time can buy your first house with some special rules and circumstances, which doesn't make you have to put as much money down on your first home purchase. It's a first-time home buyer. Make sure that that very first time that you're buying a house, make it a duplex, a triplex, a small quad apartment building, live in one of the units, rent out the others so that you can cash flow your living expenses, and then you can start to save all of your money and invest more. You move out of that unit in 1 year. I talk about this on social media all the time. You can see it on other podcasts, so I don't want to get into the weeds, but FHA loan, government back, it's the way to go for your first home purchase, and you only get to do this once. So if you already bought a house, no worries. But if you haven't yet, or your kids haven't yet, this is a really great hack to start to build generational wealth. Number 15, if that's the number, travel. Travel, travel, travel. I, from 19 to 40, was stuck in my business. I never took a week's vacation for 15 years. I worked a lot, and I'm grateful that I did, because it gave me the ability, by saying no to a lot of things early on, gave me the ability to say yes to things that I never thought I could even imagine. So I don't regret it for a minute. But I do wish that I diversified my travel and didn't go to the same place just because it was comfortable or what I knew. Travel different places. The world is massive and big, and you never know who you're going to meet or what culture you're going to get used to or exposed to that might even just bring another version of you or yourself out. So travel big, travel often, travel well. Number 16, every decision that you make today and every day will take you one step further, closer to the person that you want to become, or one step further away. I'm going to let that sink in. I'm going to say it one more time. Every single decision you make will take you one step closer to, or one step further away from the person that you want to be and the life that you want to create. So often we think we will rationalize a decision in the now because we don't have the life data and experience to understand what that one decision will cost us later. Because in the moment, the cost analysis, you're like, well, should I do this? Should I do that? Because you don't have the experience to understand that, does that decision take you closer to? And if the answer is no, you have to be brave enough and courageous enough to walk away. Anytime I have rationalized my way into a yes that I instinctively knew was a no, have created multiple moments of pain in my life. So when I pause in every decision, does this take me closer to or further away? Have the discernment and the discipline to do what's tough, even if you don't want to. Number 17, if it bothers you, change it. Life's too short. We do not have endless years here. If you don't like something about yourself, if you don't like the way that you communicate, if you don't like the way you speak, if you don't like the way you look, if you don't like the way you dress, if you don't like where you live, or whatever it may be, change it. We are not owed anything in this life, but the beautiful thing is we have the power to create just about anything that we want. So if you don't like something, change it. Give yourself permission to enjoy the life that's in your years, because honestly, life is too short. That brings us to number 18. Be honest. Oftentimes we think honest is it's difficult to have honest conversations. It's difficult to share the truth with someone or yourself. Why? Because we fear the pain. But the pain will be temporary. The regret will last longer. So whether it's being honest with yourself about a situation, being honest with a partner or a significant other, family, whatever it is, just make sure that you are always honest in a conversation. And when you're communicating with people, it will save you so much pain, time, and regret later down the road. Number 19, pay to be in the room. Pay to work with the mentor, pay to go to the events, pay to be in seminars, pay to go with training. Oftentimes we think that we're spending X and what are we going to get? But sometimes the information or the wisdom or the advice that you get in a moment, you don't even understand where that's going to apply in your life. So just make sure you're around good people, but always pay to be in the room. Number 20, read. And if you don't read, do audiobooks, but I really recommend at least 10 pages a day. There is something physical about a book and reading words that really help with listening and learning and understanding. So read more, whether fiction's your thing, nonfiction's your thing. Make sure that you're feeding your mind, because 87% of everything that we hear every single day is negative. The news, social media, all the stuff that we consume is negative. Feed your mind with positive things. Read more books. You won't regret it. Number 22, not everyone's going to like you. And guess what? That's okay. There are some people that will always support you because it's you. And there are some people who will never support you because it's you. But guess what didn't change in both scenarios? You. The people that will always support you will support you. The people that will never support you won't. But you are still the same. It's all about finding more people, more of your people, but not changing you. That's the one key thing. Not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. Number 23, use your voice. Speak up for yourself, for others when it's needed. So often people see things, but they don't do anything about it. Speak up when it comes to helping somebody else, to standing up for somebody else, for speaking out for something that it's injustice. Use your voice. Not every single country in the world has the ability to do what we do here in America. So use your voice and use it often. 24, and this is such a great reminder, there is no one coming. There's no one coming. No white knight, no person with their shield, no guy on a white horse. It's riding up to save you. No one is coming. And if you wait on the sidelines of your life to someone come and rescue you, you will be waiting forever. The most empowering thing to know is that you can save yourself. Whatever situation that you got yourself in, whatever situation you want to be in, you have the power to do whatever it is, but you have to take the power. So often we give our power away because we think this person or this solution or this thing is going to save us, when more often than not, we got to dial into ourselves and double down on what we know. No one's coming to save you, but the beautiful part is you don't need them. 25, I touched on this before, but I want it to have its own. You got to have a little more faith than fear. Every single thing you do in life, every next level, every goal, every aspiration is going to require you to have a little more courage than you do fear. Successful people aren't successful because they lack fear. They have fear, they feel fear, and they do it anyways because they know that the growth lies outside of your comfort zone. So instead of feeling the fear and fearing it and stepping away from it, they feel the fear. Am I saying that right? They feel the fear and they do it anyways because they know that this is the indicator, the compass to know that this is where your next level lies. So it's important to have a little more faith in your own ability than the fear that's in your mind. 26, giving fixes everything. If you're having a bad day, a bad week, a bad moment, the fastest way to shift your mind from the pain that you feel and the adversity that you face is to give or bless someone else. Giving and contribution is radically underrated, and it is the one thing that will shift you from your pain to focusing on someone else and getting out of anything that you're experiencing. 27, know your values. I want you to feel the gravity of that sentence. Know your values, not just your business values, but your values of your life. Like what's actually important to you on this earth? What actually matters to you? What do you want to create a life of? Find those values, and once you know what they are, write them down and don't compromise. Decisions are made very simply when you understand your values. Because when you're faced with a decision and you know this either takes me one step closer to or one step further away, does this align with my values? Whew, you have a great filtering system in order to know exactly how to answer decisions and questions and where to navigate life. That brings us to number 28. Nothing is owed to us. I mentioned this earlier. It needs its own. The world doesn't owe you money. It doesn't owe you love. It doesn't owe you perfect parents. Life doesn't owe you anything, but you do have the power to create anything that you want. 29, you don't have to go with the flow. Just because it's popular, just because everybody's doing it, just because people want it, doesn't make it right or that it's for you. Make sure that you have discernment and be courageous to have faith in yourself that you don't need to go with the flow or society if it doesn't make sense for who you are and where you're going. 30, take time to heal. If you have had trauma or challenges or pain, whatever it's been that you've gone through, adversity, take time to heal. Talk to a therapist, get in a support group, whatever it is. There's no shame in focusing on your mental health. And I believe if more people did this in the world, we would have so many less problems. Take time to heal. And that brings us to number 31. Develop emotional control. So often life is happening so fast and we are constantly reacting to moments as opposed to being proactive with our emotions. Having emotional control gives you stability to really understand what's going on around you and not having the knee-jerk reaction to be a keyboard warrior or light someone up that cuts you off in line or on the street or on the freeway. Having emotional control gives you the ability to pause, take 1/2 of 1 second, and allow your instinct to come in and not your intellect react. There is so much power in the pause, and by doing it well, you're going to develop really great emotional control. 32, gratitude. Having a gratitude practice in the morning and before you go to bed, just a few minutes, is so massively beneficial in life. And I don't normally have this like 24-step thing that I do in the morning and at night. Like, I need life to be simple and straightforward because everything else is so chaotic. But I do one quick thing every time I wake up. It's super short, takes 5 seconds. I just say to myself, before my feet hit the floor, I find 5 things I'm grateful for. It could be the sun shining. It could be the roof over my head. It could be Grace laying next to me. There's a variety of things it could be. It could be something that went really well yesterday, but just taking those few first seconds and starting your day in gratitude will open up positivity throughout your following day. And that brings us to number 33, highly underrated. Dogs are incredible therapists. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that dog is God spelled backwards. So adopt, don't shop. You can find your best friend or a much less expensive therapist at your local animal shelter. I just wanted to highlight the importance of that. Number 34, Habits are everything. Show me your habits, and I will show you everything of what your life looks like. If you want to create a different result for your life, you can't just change your habits. It needs to start first with creating and changing your decisions, because your decisions are going to drive behaviors, and those behaviors are going to create habits, and those habits are going to create your results. So, show me your habits, I'll show you your life. But if you want to change them, it's going to start with better decisions. Number 35, create more than you consume. If you were at a place where you are, what is it called? Doom scrolling. If you are doom scrolling on social media and you are stuck in the comparison of other people, the fastest way for you to change your reality is to create more than you consume. Stop consuming other people's information and content. Stop consuming the negativity and go create your own positivity in your own life. Number 36, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. Growth is something that you always need to be in the pursuit of. And if it doesn't challenge us, if it doesn't challenge our body, it's not going to change us. If it doesn't challenge our mindset, it's not going to change it. If it doesn't challenge our resolve and what we want to show up for and how committed we are to our goals, it's not going to change anything. So often in my own life, the greatest challenges that I faced were right before the greatest level of breakthrough. And it's over and over and over again. I mean, I can't tell you, just even the last season of my life, like exiting and leaving an identity and moving across the country, the challenges that come with that, but it's also been right before the greatest blessings. So just remember, in those moments where you want to stop, you want to give up, you want to quit, that those moments are whatever you believe. I believe that's God really making you who you need to become in order to get through bigger challenges down the road. Number 37, this is a super boring adult thing to say, but don't be underinsured. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many people walk around, especially business owners creating wealth and growing their assets, and they are massively underinsured. Make sure that every single year you are going in and reevaluating your business policies, your personal policies, seeing if you need to up your personal liability umbrella depending on how many assets that you have. Make sure that you are not underinsured. It'll help you later on in life. Number 38, this goes back a little bit to our health section in the beginning, but don't underestimate the power of cold therapy. I was just talking with Tommy Mello, and he actually was referencing cold showers. Like, even if you don't have cryo or a cold plunge, take a cold shower every morning. You wouldn't believe what it does for your body, your energy, and your motivation. Number 39, this is a hard reality, but every single year that you're alive, you will spend less and less time with your parents. So if your parents are alive right now, this is probably the most amount of time that you've spent with them. As each year goes on, you spend less. So often we think our parents are 70 and we have maybe 15 or 20 more years with them, but you really don't have that many years. If you only see them 3 to 4 times a year, even 10 years, you might see them 30 to 40 more times in your life. So just make sure that you don't get so focused on chasing money and chasing growth and chasing success and all the things that it can bring that you miss out on spending time with people in your life. Number 40, whatever it is that you want to achieve, whether it's greater wealth, greater success, a bigger business, or spending more time with family, remember that it starts with the end in mind. You have got to be able to see what it is that you want to achieve, create, or build, so that you can reverse engineer getting there. If you have not taken at least 2 hours in the last year to just ideate, to think, to visualize what you want your life to look like, what you want the end of your life to look like, what you want to make sure that you accomplish before your years are over, I want to encourage you to take 2 hours and just ideate on what that looks like so that you can reverse engineer your days in order to have more life in your years. Number 41, there's a lot of healing that happens in nature. Oftentimes we are stuck in boxes. Our box car, our box house, our box office. Get out of the box as much as you can Take a walk outside, be in the sunshine, be in nature, go on hikes, volunteer at a sanctuary or a wildlife preserve. There is so much healing that can be found in nature. Which brings me to number 42, take care of wildlife. Do the right thing. I feed my birds all the time, and I can't tell you how happy it makes me. I also get critter food for the squirrels and the raccoons and everything. So feed the birds. It's a little simple thing, but it brings a lot of people joy. Which brings us to number 43, give more and expect less. This is a really tough one because oftentimes we think, even subconsciously, that as we are doing for someone or doing something, that we should be receiving something in return. And really, when life makes sense is when we just give more and expect less. Give more of yourself, show up more, but don't expect others to do the same. All right, that brings us to number 44, maybe 45. I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to end on this one wherever we are because I think it's really important. I want you to imagine you and I are sitting next to each other and we are on a big, beautiful porch and we're looking out across the land and we're on a swing and we're swinging on this big, beautiful swing. And I look over across from you and I say, what would you do different? And let's fast forward. Let's pretend we're 85, 90 years old. And we're just looking back and reflecting on life. And I say to you, what would you have done different? What do you wish you would have went for? What do you wish you would have tried? What do you wish you would have stopped? What do you wish you would have not spent as much time caring about or worrying about? I think so often we neglect the fact that we're going to get to a point in our life where life is going to run out of days. We're going to run out of energy. We're going to run out of motivation. And so I think it's really important to say, what would you do now in order to become the person that you were created to be? My greatest fear in life is that I get to the end and I don't become who God created me to be. That I don't become the woman that he needed me to be on this earth, that I don't do enough or give enough or help enough or serve enough or contribute enough. Like, that is my greatest fear. And you might have your own. But if we reflect and we look back at maybe some of the decisions that we made and how we would have maybe changed them, even if regret is too heavy, we might have changed them or not worried about them as much or did it a little bit differently. I want you to think about that right now in your life. Is there anything that you're doing right now that if you go another 20, 30, 40 years and you look back at this moment, that you'll say, I just wish I would have done that a little differently? I truly believe that all of us have this instinctual part of us that knows when we are not living up to our highest potential, or we're majoring in minor things, or we're just flat out doing things that we shouldn't. So I want to encourage you to let those things go or go all in on what it is that's been sitting on your heart, so that when you get to the end of your life, that you look back with pride, with excitement, and not with regret. All right, guys, I left you with a lot today. I hope you liked this episode. If you did, please subscribe to the show, leave us a review. And of course, if you want more information about what we do, you can go to candyvalentino.com, foundersorganization.com. Find me on social at candyvalentino. But until next time, keep growing, keep serving, keep doing, keep becoming who God created you to be. I'm cheering you on. We'll see you next week.